For the best prices and service on Pokemon TCG singles and products, check out ccgcastle.com and use promo code Evolutionaries-5 for 5% off your next order.
What's up, guys? Em here, and today for this Deck Tech Thursday, I'm going to be profiling for you guys my Expanded Turbo Dark deck. Now, I was actually testing around with this deck quite a bit, and it's a lot of fun. It's really hard, really fast. And now that we have access to not only the new Darkrai GX that came out and Burning Shadows, but a lot of the older cards as well that just recently got rotated out. So the fact that we have all those resources together makes this an amazing, amazing deck. And I'm about to show you why. Alright, so we start off here with technically four Darkrai EX, three of them of Dark Pulse from Breakpoint, and one of the old school Darkrai from Dark Explorers. And this is the one with the ability Dark Cloak that all of your any Pokemon with Dark Energy has free retreat. But the main point of the deck is right here with this Darkrai. It's got the attack for 2 colors, does Dark Pulse, 20 and 20 more for each Dark Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And we have so many ways in Expand to speed up Dark Energy. So this hits hard really quickly, really hard. And wow, it's so weird that to talk about this Darkrai only for the ability when this was released, this was like almost tier 0 with its attack. Night Spear. For 2 darkening colors does 90 damage and 32 on your opponent's bench. Yeah, this was actually amazing back in the day. I mean, it can still be kind of good now in those really weird situations. Next up, gonna continue the Darkrai train with 3 copies of Darkrai GX. Now this is the new one that just came out here. And one of the things that makes it so good, well, I shouldn't say one of the things, the main thing that makes it so good for Turbo Dark is its ability, Restoration. If this card's in your discard pile, you could bring it back onto your bench and attach a Dark Energy from your discard to him. So you pretty much just do whatever you gotta do to get rid of an energy and this Darkrai GX. You put it back with the energy array attached there, not wasting your energy attachment for turn, and boosting up the Dark Pulse even much faster. And keep on going with Accelerating Dark Energy. We've got 1 copy of Baby Yveltal here. And we use them for the attack Oblivion Wing for a single dark, does 30 damage, and you attach a Dark Energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. Doesn't have to be a Dark type, but it's still really cool. It's a good way to accelerate energy when we really need that extra energy for a game or taking a big knockout. And the last Pokemon I run are supporter Pokemon. 2 copies of Tapu Lele and 1 copy of Shaman EX. Now, I personally thought Shaman would have been completely replaced by Lele, but since we want to get everything as quickly as possible, just rush through everything, I figured Shaman would help with that, and it has been helping out pretty well with it. So, this is it for our Pokemon lineup. And now we're going to go into our supporter lineup. Now, since this is expanded, supporters you don't really run as many of, because you don't need to. So, I run 3 copies of Professor Sycamore, or this can be Juniper if that's the route you want to take. It's completely fine as well. Only 1 copy of N, because again, this is expanded. We don't really need an abundance of supporters like we would in standard. 1 N usually is all you need. Alright, and also we continue to one-up train with 1 Colress. Shout out TCG Derek, by the way, because he actually got this for me for my birthday. And so glad now I could use it because Expand is much more relevant. Run 1 copy of Getsis. Now this is the supporter you want to see turn 1. Because a turn 1 Getsis can ruin the entire game for your opponents if they have a lot of items in their hand. Especially on the rare circumstance if their hand is nothing but items. You basically get rid of their entire hand and you draw that many cards. So definitely a good turn 1 supporter, especially if you know your opponent's deck is very item reliant. Really slows them down. And next up, well, last up for the supporters, it's going to be 2 copies of Guzma. Now, I run Guzma here instead of Lysander because even though it switches my active Pokemon, remember you have Dark Cloak Darkrai in here, so you should bring up something with a Dark Energy and retreat back to that same Pokemon if that's the Pokemon you want to have up there. And also stuff like Poison, Sleep, status conditions in general are much more prevalent and expanded than standard. So I feel Guzma's the better choice there. But if you still prefer Lysander, hey, that's up to you. Or if you want to go 1 Guzma, 1 Lysander, that's cool too. Go whichever route you as the Pokemon trainer feel comfortable with. And now we're going to go with mix up, I want to say at least half of this deck, if not possibly more, items. Alright, so we got 4 copies of Ultra Ball here. Very standard, very, very important. Especially since there's another way to discard your Darkrai GX and energy. And another standard thing, 4 copies of VS Seeker. Now this actually just got rotated very recently from the standard formats, which that was a big hit. This was definitely a big hit to get rotated. Personally, I feel the biggest thing to get rotated was VS Seeker. So many decks were relying around that. Now I've seen so many decks out there for the new standard play 3 copies of Tapu Lele just to get their supporters out. And you run so many copies of them. It's so weird how one format requires so many supporters and the other format requires so few. And one of the reasons that this format does not require that many supporters is VS Seeker, but also Battle Compressor. Now, while this is another excellent way, probably the best way, honestly, to get rid of your Darkrai GXs and your energy into the discard, it's also a good way to search out supporters, because if you got a VS Seeker in your hand and there's a certain support you want to play for that turn, you just Battle Compressor it away, play your VS Seeker, get it from discard, and play it. So, and when it comes to the ban list, I'm actually heavily shocked that Battle Compressor was not added onto that ban list, because it's such a good card. I would even go almost as far as say that Battle Compressor is one of the most broken item cards we've ever gotten. But it's still not banned at all. So I guess that's how it is. And then we also have 4 copies of Max Elixir, because every Pokemon in our deck's a basic, so there's always something we can attach this to, and we run so many energy, so we almost never miss it. And taking you guys back to the real days of old. 4 copies of Dark Patch. Now this right here, for those of you who are not too familiar with expanded formats, or back when Dark Explorers, the black and white era, Dark decks were basically tier 0, and this was half the reason why. Such an amazing card. You newer players might try to relate this to Aqua Patch that we have now, but you gotta realize back then not only was this a huge deal for Dark Pokemon, but at the same time, Dark had all the support in the world. Dark had their own Muscle Band before we had Muscle Band. You had stuff like Laser Bank, had the Free Retreat Darkrai, which was also the biggest attacker back then. You had Yveltal, this one right here, and you had Yveltal EX when XY base came out. This made Dark tier 0 for Primal Fish knows how long. And the fact that in Extended Bangs we can still use this today, whew, it's probably one of the reasons, it's probably half the reason why Dark Pulse Darkrai is a huge contender for the expanded format, regardless of all the item lock out there. Alright, and to continue the items, we have 2 copies of Field Blower. I personally feel that this is better than Starlight Megaphone or Tool Scrapper, mainly because you could choose between your own tools as well, or stadiums. I love the fact that you could also get rid of a stadium with this. So really cool there. And I also run only 2 copy of Choice Band, because I personally feel this is all you need. Not to mention in Expanded, there are far more non-EX or GX decks that can be good than in Standard. So I personally think you only need 2. If you want to run 3, that's perfectly fine. It is a great card, but me personally, I think you only need 2. Alright. Now, next up here, I run 2 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser. Now, I'm going to explain something here a bit. Darkrai GX. On first glance, you would only use it for the ability Restoration. Its attack, while not bad actually, its main attack here is Dark Cleave, 2 Darkening colors, does 130, and it's not affected by resistance. It's not bad to attack with, because it one-shot Shamans, it's a good amount of damage all around, and I did underestimate that attack at first, but it's pretty good. But it's GX attack, Dead End GX, same amount of energy requirements, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon is automatically knocked out. So it could be a gigantic HP Pokemon, doesn't matter, just do 1 laser, they're automatically poisoned. You flip a coin and see if they're asleep as well, but this right here guarantees a status condition. And if you have a Darkrai GX powered up, you use Dead End GX, take that 1 knockout instantly, just like that. So that is the reason why I run 2 Hypnotoxic Laser. And last but not least, I run 1 Dazzling Machine. Not only does this help discard cards from your hand, like say your Darkrai or your Energy, but it also acts as either a 3rd Laser, a 5th Dark Patch, a 5th Max Elixir, or a 5th VS Seeker, whichever you need at the time. Or it could even be something to retrieve a Stadium or Supporter. Anything you need, Dowsing Machine can get it to you. And speaking of Stadiums, we run 3 copies of Skyfield because while the ability restoration for Darkrai GX is amazing, it definitely takes up bench space. So we want to increase our bench space as much as possible, and that's what we got Skyfield here for. Pretty self-explanatory with that. And now for our energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we just have the 12 basic dark energy. We don't run any double colorless in here whatsoever because you don't need it. And yeah, this about wraps it up for the Turbo Darkrai deck. As I said, it is a very good contender for the expanded format and also very playable for standard as well. So all around both formats, this Turbo Dark, whichever way you want to build it, it has potential any format you want to play. So be sure to stick around tomorrow where I take on Professor K and Battle Frontier Friday. And this deck's been doing me well so far, and I don't like having my losing streak. So let's hope I can break my losing streak tomorrow with this deck here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll catch you guys later. This has been N with the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and you all have a good day.